ring each other over. And just as like a general, like, to start this interview off, what do you think about like the whole search and obsession over Satoshi Nakamoto, just as a
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
insider?
For me,
Sorry, go ahead.
for me personally, that's just been kind of. It's never been something I've been interested in. I thought it was pretty silly, quite frankly, to find out who it was, because it frankly doesn't really matter. The technology is the technology.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, there were a lot of negative aspects of figuring about it, figuring out who it is too. I mean, it's led to lawsuits. It's led to countless fragmentation and fighting inside of the community. When we have a big enough problem. It's trying to make a global currency. We don't need factions inside of it. So I think it's been kind of distracting, quite frankly.
divisive. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to solve? Like, when you know who it is, it's like, okay, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person, but
yeah.
fundamentally, nothing's really changed.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think that's the point that I made when I did like a follow-up stream right after I alleged the video. I'm like, I said something along the lines of, so a lot of people don't want Satoshi, like, okay, to counter that, just before I go on to my next point, a lot of
yeah,
people don't want to know who Satoshi Nakamoto is because they fear it'll cheapen Bitcoin as a whole, especially if he's carrying, if he still has those millions of coins. And you know how
yeah.
the prices tend to move in tandem, which seems to be the only thing that people care about. But, what do you think about like his power over all of those forked coins that he potentially could move?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. Yeah, he could do a lot with that,
Yeah.
really. I mean, I think it would affect how people treat it, because really they put him kind of on a pedestal as this like anonymous person, and maybe in the beginning he was trying to be anonymous for privacy or who knows what, but now it's kind of like been elevated to um, I I don't want to say like religious figure, but
Oh,
it's
it
just
has.
yeah.
It
I
has.
mean, it's something that it shouldn't be, and it's completely orthogonal to like what the cryptocurrency realm was originally about, in my opinion.
What do you think about some people going like, well, in his earliest writings, he,
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's so creepy to hear those type of things. It's like it doesn't really matter. Like, people make mistakes because whoever wrote it was a person in the beginning. They're not, a god figure. They're not,
yeah,
religious. So it doesn't matter what he originally wrote. We need to figure out what to move on to now. How do we want it to be?
yeah. So obviously, like as a segue to that, um, are like you're aware of like the politics involved and obviously the lawsuits, and you said you've taken kind of a back seat and observed it all, but what do you see kind of people's actions as like these, everyone's kind of fighting for their own faction, but what are your thoughts as like the politics as a whole, and how have you and Nano kind of tried to avoid that? um,
Yeah, well, I mean, the politics as a whole is extremely poisonous, quite frankly, in cryptocurrency. There's constant infighting, and it's largely financially driven, so it's not unexpected, but it's not helpful. Like, if your goal is to have a global digital currency, having 3,000 variants of it when everyone's fighting viscerally with each other about it,
yeah,
that's not going to get us to something that the world could use.
yeah,
And yeah, I remember you were talking about kind of the reaction about your video, and um, it isn't helpful when new people try to like dip their toes into cryptocurrency only to have 1,000 sharks come in and try and eat you. It
yeah,
makes people want to avoid it. It
yeah,
gets a bad reputation,
yeah, and
and
it does. You're right. You're right. Sorry if I
yeah,
cut you off. um,
no,
what was I gonna say? So what I can there's actually an article from Chainlink that I can pull up, that basically summarized. Basically, they couldn't disprove the video, right? So they went to character
hmm
assassination on me, digging up posts from like 3 years ago about
mm,
substance abuse from me, like basically anything that they could
yeah.
to downplay the video. It was, I'll pull it up real quick.
Well, I mean, it's an ad hominem attack. Like, regardless of anything else, the
Yeah.
substance is the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Have they done have you ever experienced anything to that degree? Because I know if you do anything, like people like you're trying to pump the price. You're trying to short
Yeah.
short. Have you experienced that?
Me, personally, I'm not personally. There have been people on our team that have definitely experienced it, and yeah, it's not good at all. It's like there's very good people working on our team,
Yeah,
and then there's like a segment of people out there that are taking it upon themselves to just tear people down for absolutely no reason. And it's definitely not beneficial to Nano. It's not beneficial to anyone.
yeah,
It's just kind of poisonous. There's no other really way to describe it.
yeah. Can you kind of weigh in, like, in terms of why, like, the whole community seems so chill compared to, like, and just before I go on, I obviously
Yeah,
cryptocurrencies and investing in, just because I'm having you on here, it's not a direct endorsement of Nano. I'm not telling anyone,
absolutely not.
not telling anyone to buy it. I'm just saying what I know. The reason I had you on was out of my curiosity of why is this community way more open and friendly, as opposed to the other ones that I was seeing basically just destroy me over something they didn't want to know that they all basically couldn't
Hmm.